Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here to talk about Pope Francis's first 10 years.
As Jessica remarked when we were starting to prepare for this, it's hard to believe that it's been 10 years since he became Pope. That it's gone by both really quickly and really slowly.
Yes.
But it was on March 13th, 2013, that Jorge Mario Bergoglio became the first Pope from the New World and the first Pope from outside Europe in hundreds and hundreds of years, taking the name Francis.
And what a fantastic time it's been. I don't know. It's been a wild ride. Let's say that.
Well, for me, the Papacy of Francis is we talked similar things about the passing of Pope Emeritus Benedict, but I've only lived through 3 popes. But in my experience, the Francis Papacy has been unique because although I've been a Christian since 1979, I only started to live out my faith in 2012. So, I wasn't engaged during the pontificate of St. John Paul II. I was engaged only at the tail end of the pontificate of Pope Emeritus Benedict.
Well, and Pope Francis's has been somewhat unique in that
First Jesuit Pope.
First Jesuit Pope. While a lot of the technologies that we have available today were starting to become available during JP2's time, he was not really in a position health-wise and age-wise to really begin taking advantage of them.
The internet was a very different thing at the end of his life in 2005.
Exactly.
I'm just now trying to imagine the Pope's MySpace page. Like all the music that starts blaring is in Latin.
Well, this is all Gregorian chant. What's going on? Oh, there's Palestrina. This is fine.
He doesn't have time in his time. He doesn't have time in his friends at all.
Somehow it looks old-fashioned, even though it's the new thing.
Well, St. John Paul would be like some, skiing music, whatever that is.
Benedict,
skiing music.
a lot of the technologies that a lot of technologies that are prevalent today started to become available in Benedict's time, but recognizing that he was not the best person to begin taking advantage of them, he then instead began what was commonly referred to as the new evangelization, where he made the push for others to go out and begin using these resources as a form of evangelization. Pope Francis has really been the first pope to have a lot of the global access to other people, and have had the opportunity to take advantage of it, which has been both a blessing in some cases and a bit of a curse in some others.
It has been a fantastic chance to reflect upon the fact that papal press conferences on airplanes, especially as twisted and misquoted in the media, are not magisterial teachings. So everybody just calm down.
Let's be clear. Papal press conferences on airplanes simply shouldn't exist.
That would be ideal.
I feel like if you are a member of the press who has been allowed onto the papal plane for travel, it should come with a little disclaimer that everything that occurs on the plane in order to avoid unnecessary and undesirable confusion,
it's all just background.
It's off the record.
Yeah, it's background.
Yeah.
Although, in defense of the press, which is something I will very, very rarely do, Pope Francis is unique in that he doesn't live in the Apostolic Palace. He lives in the Domus Santa Marta, because he wants to live around people. He dines communally.
Sure.
This part of his shtick where he travels on the bus.
These are all good things.
So it's his fault because on the Pope's plane, he's in the front, the press is in the back. He wanders back to talk to them, so it's not really their fault.
No, it's not. I'm just saying realistically, this is not a press conference. This is more like this is more akin to a cocktail party.
There you go.
So realistically, the things that he's saying should only be treated as the things that he's saying, and not at all, being held to any higher standard than making polite talk at a social function.
You know what would fix this? Cocktails.
Uh-huh.
So, Your Holiness, as loyal sons and daughter of the church, we humbly submit that on plane rides, when again in your current condition, when you're probably wheeled back, just invite everyone to set down their phones and various recording devices, take up a tasty cocktail, and let's just talk. Like people.
Like people.
See, I feel the problem is that it probably started out as him just talking, and at a certain point they kept printing what he said, so he just made it an official, okay,
Well, I mean,
you over there, what's your question for
well,
me?
again, he's Pope. Everything he does is news.
I memean, realistically, there's a limit to what you can how much you can restrain him when he's around other people. I do agree. I think that it's less a problem of the press and more a problem of the individual who does not understand that their whole job is to write down what you say.
Well, and again, the fact that he repeatedly talks to the atheist journalist in Italy, giving interview after interview, which he then horribly misquotes because the guy he's old and he doesn't even take notes. And yet he keeps talking to him.
That and the language thing, because there's been a number of times when it's like, okay, I speak this language, and they're like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense now. Like, he said this and this.
When you translate it to Portuguese, it makes sense.
So,
like, I'm still trying to figure out what the Latin word is for internet, because, there was one of his writings that had internet, so they had to have a Latin word for it to put it in the, official Latin one.
Yep. Or, of course, Fratelli Tutti over there, which it just, you know what? We're just going to keep the Italian title. It's fine.
It sounds fun. Like an ice cream flavor.
It does. Now, I'm behind, so I haven't read Fratelli Tutti yet, but it's over there.
Fruity Tooty, right, gotcha.
Fruity Tutti, the latest apostolic exhortation. But, everybody, we are YouTubers, so we're not saying that we don't like to put our own opinions out there, but it seems like everybody wants to have an opinion. Everybody wants to tell you what's right about Francis, what's wrong about Francis. When he agrees with me, he's right. When he disagrees with me, he's wrong, as if you're Pope and not him.
But the correct answer is, when what you think he says agrees with me, then you're right on what he thought. And what you say disagrees with what I think, then clearly you're misrepresenting him.
Clearly. Absolutely.
I think I understand what you just said.
Sadly, that is the interpretive key of so many Catholic commentators, which is a clear illustration that doing this work is a great peril to people's souls. Please, pray for Patrick Coffin. He's very lost. But the one moment that we can all agree on, as to this point, the shining moment of the Francis papacy, was the moment in March of 2020, when things were very, very dark. In this case, literally, when he gave a special Urbi et Orbi address and blessed the whole world. Who can forget the image of Francis there on the steps of St. Peter's, alone on the platform, nobody else around, there's no people in the square, it's dark, it's raining, you can hear ambulances in the background, and there he blesses the whole world with our Lord in the monstrance.
That was awesome.
It was, and I have to wonder what the crime statistics right then was for the Vatican with its over 100% crime rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were no travelers there.
No.
As most of it is, pickpockets and stuff from travelers.
Won't someone think of the poor pickpockets? How bad lockdown was for them. But I think that moment is an interpretive key for all of us, because imagine the pressure of having to be the pastor for the whole world, because he's the Bishop of Rome. And the bishop is responsible for all the souls within his diocese. But because he's also because of the Bishop of Rome, he sits on the apostolic throne of Peter, which means everybody is his charge. So to try to have to be the shepherd for all the souls in the known universe, for a man who now is in his mid-80s, who's had some health troubles, is getting around in a wheelchair, and for his entire adult life has been operating on one lung. Carrying that heavy weight? Maybe we should just all try to extend to the man a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, it's wild. 10 years.
Yes.
10 years.
Like, you said 10 years, and I'm like, it can't be 10 years. But then I remember what I was doing, why I was desperately trying to get the radio station that was playing the news in to hear if there had been a pope yet. And it was one of those things
Habemus papam.
where the station that was doing it was so staticky, so it's like, if I move an inch forward, I can kind of get it. But if I sit back, suddenly it's all static. Wait, what did it say?
And actually, you forgot part. Originally, it's, wow, has it only been 10 years? And then it's, wow, it's only been 10 years?
Those two things in tension. Absolutely. 2013 was 10 years ago.
I mean, I felt like there was a decade that took place between 2016, the fall of 2016, and the fall of the spring of 2020. Yeah, the spring of 2021.
I think most of us aged a couple decades in those 5 years.
Yeah.
Bad times, man.
We live in a dark age,
Well,
but there is a light.
there is the light that there's always been, the light of Christ, and the darkness will not overcome the light, however much it seems like it is.
Plus, it's something that you could say that for every generation. Like, when you were talking about that moment, I'm like, yes. And he didn't really have a good example for what to do. Because the last time we had a worldwide pandemic, we just pretended it didn't happen because we were busy with World War One.
World wars tend to take your mind off a lot of things.
People keep dying from this Spanish flu. Oh, it started in Spain? No, they're the only people who are reporting on it because they're not in war.
They don't know when the weren't at war, so they never said, yeah. And the fact that, just a couple years after the Spanish flu, the fascists took over Italy. Yeah, busy times. Busy times.
So, Pope Francis, congratulations on 10 years. Here's to many more. I'm not going to throw a number in there because that's when I'll be wrong.
And God's will.
Absolutely.
And we have to remember, when he first became Pope, he was talking about, maybe I'll be Pope for, 3, maybe 5 years. He seemed to be seriously considering, resigning in the style of Benedict. But then, of course, Benedict kept not dying.
Yeah.
For almost 10 years.
It would have been interesting if we had two former popes.
We couldn't have we couldn't have two Pope Emeriti. No.
That would be catastrophic.
I mean, if we collect enough of them, we can make an actual living chessboard where they play the bishops.
Okay, so on that note, go down below.
The Council of Former Popes. It'll be great.
Leave a comment down below. Perhaps you would also like to wish Pope Benedict or Pope Francis another blessed many more years, or thank him for the 10 years he's already put in.
And please continue to pray for his health and his intentions.
While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell next to it so you get notified when new episodes come out. Tell your friends about us.
Tell your enemies about us.
Tell your enemies about us. Tell your neighbors about us. I assume they don't fit into either of those two categories.
Don't forget the now proven trick of going over to a family member's house,
turning on their YouTube and just letting us run.
It's brought about at least one conversion.
Yeah. That we know of. And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.
I'm just saying, having ex-popes be all the bishops in a living chessboard would be the ultimate.
Yeah, about that.
I'm pretty sure.
Ex-Holy Father, we need you to be a living chess piece. I'm a 93-year-old man. We'll get you a chair.